Today on the Family Vacationer, we explore the hidden gem of Wilmington, North Carolina, and its nearby Carolina Beach. From historic landmarks to beautiful beaches, this destination has something for everyone. Episode 118 starts right now.
Welcome to the Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Welcome, friends. I'm Rob.
And I'm Danny.
And this is episode 118 of the Family Vacationer. So glad that you're with us again this week. Now, in case you missed last week, we had Kim Motika. She was with us to lay out some really good information if you've been considering vacationing at an all-inclusive resort, so please check that out. Now, in this episode today, we're exploring the charming coastal city of Wilmington, North Carolina, and its nearby Carolina Beach. This area is a fantastic destination on the East Coast with beautiful beaches, historic landmarks, really endless activities for families of children of all ages.
Yes, and whether you're looking for a relaxing beach vacation or a cultural adventure or maybe even a mix of both, Wilmington and Carolina Beach have something for everybody. You know, it might be strolling along the Riverwalk and visiting the USS North Carolina Battleship to exploring the North Carolina Aquarium at Fort Fisher, or maybe even soaking up the sun on the sand. There's no shortage of things to do and see. So in this episode, we're going to be sharing insider tips on where to stay, where to eat, of course, because it's Rob and me. So we're going to talk about where to eat and what to do and, you know, how to make the most of your family vacation in Wilmington and Carolina Beach. So sit back, relax, and join us on this journey to the beautiful coast of North Carolina.
That's right. Joining us today to talk more about the city of Wilmington and Carolina Beach is Connie Nelson. She's the Communications Public Relations Director of the Wilmington and Beaches Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Hannah Almeter, the Communications PR Specialist from the same agency. Excited to have them both. Connie, Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So I want to kick it off by asking you, what makes Wilmington, Carolina Beach, North Carolina a top destination for families, and why should they consider visiting?
I'm so glad you asked. Well, we are really one destination with four unique settings. We're known as Wilmington and Beaches, and it's Wilmington and the island beaches of Carolina Beach, Cary Beach, and Wrightsville Beach. And each has its own unique personality. I know today we're going to mostly be talking about Carolina Beach and Wilmington, but everything's so close here. That's another advantage for families, I think. We are the second smallest county in the state land-wise, so everything is just easy to get to. You don't have to take a ferry to get over to our island beaches, which is kind of unique for North Carolina beaches. We're also more year-round because we're North Carolina's shoreline is like 300 miles long, and we're actually closer to South Carolina than we are to the Outer Banks. Mm-hmm. So, you know, so different than some of the beaches that are north of us. You know, it's just a real short 2-minute bridge drive over from Wilmington over to one of our island beaches. So. And once you get here, you not only have the beautiful beaches, you have a historic riverfront and, you know, so many ways to explore it with tours and a wide variety of tours, as well as a lot of unique family-friendly activities, museums, and we'll be talking about some of the others attractions that we have. But we really think that for these reasons, coupled with our subtropical climate that makes it a year-round destination, that you can really experience the best of the Carolina coast and Wilmington and our beaches.
Awesome.
Well, that was a great segue into the next question. What are some of those top family-friendly attractions in Wilmington, Carolina Beach?
Sure, I'm going to take over for this one. We had trouble with this question because we have so many popular attractions where we are, starting with Airlie Gardens, which most people are very attracted to that by the 67 acres of gardens that they have. And they have an annual art exhibit where they bring in local artists and involve them in the project. We have Enchanted Airlie, which is in December, and they decorate with Christmas lights, and it's really, really spectacular. Just down the road from that is the Arboretum with beautiful gardens as well. And then we have on Carolina Beach, we have our state park, which is, we have 9 miles of trails that wind through there. And it's also the home of the Venus flytrap. And it's the year of the trail, so we're trying to push that a lot this year. It's a beautiful place to with all different types of trails if you're bringing your family. And they also have they have kayak and stand-up paddleboard rentals, and then you can take tours on the Cape Fear River. And then just a short drive down the road is the NC Aquarium at Fort Fisher. So technically on Curry Beach, but it's a amazing aquarium. Just to name a few things, they have a touch tank for the kids. There's a giant aquarium with sea turtles. We have an albino alligator, and then we have our newest habitat, which is the Asian small claw otters, and they just gave birth to some new pups recently, and that's very exciting for us. Let's see. Wilmington, we have just over the bridge is the Battleship North Carolina. If you're interested in World War II and history, it's a really cool attraction. Specifically for kids is Jungle Rapids. That is our family fun park. They have indoor arcades and laser tag, and then we have an outdoor water park there, which is really cool, and go-karts. And then we have back to downtown Wilmington, we have the Railroad Museum. So anybody that's interested in, anything to do with railroads or the history of the Southeast railroads, that's a great spot, as well as the Children's Museum that's downtown. And then, we have so many. We could go on and on.
Yeah.
Danny's got some nephews that would love the Railroad Museum. I saw that when I'm looking through the. They'd love that.
Oh yeah, they would spend hours.
Yeah. The model railroads there are amazing. They have 2 or 3 set up, and it's fun to go push the buttons and watch it go through. And Hannah was mentioning one of our Christmas activities. The Railroad Museum also has a great Christmas activity where they decorate the model railroads for the holidays, and all kinds of lights and sounds, and they have all kinds of great holiday, fun activities for families.
Very cool. So, a lot of places have that really unique attraction that everybody talks about. So I wanted to ask you, are there any of those like unique family friendly experiences or activities that visitors cannot miss while they're in the area?
Well, Hannah mentioned the Carolina Beach State Park and the Venus flytrap.
That's
one
definitely
really unique thing about the Venus flytrap is it only grows in the wild within a 75-mile to 100-mile radius of Wilmington. And the park itself was actually created to preserve not only the Venus flytrap, but also other carnivorous plants, bladderworts, sundews, and some others that grow in the wild in the park. It's kind of a bog and savanna pine area. So there are a lot of fun theories about how the Venus flytrap ended up there, as well as some other areas, because they all grow in areas that are elliptical depressions. So my favorite theory is that a meteorite shower happened way back prehistoric times, and that maybe these plants traveled in on these meteors and found a great place to thrive. So anyway, it's just a fun thing to think about, but it's a great way to teach kids, give a history lesson or not history lesson, but science lesson about these fly traps. The Carolina Beach State Park has a wonderful education center also that interprets all these natural unique things about the park. And like Hannah said, they have other trails as well, but the Venus flytrap the trail is certainly the most unique there. And outside of that, you can take a carriage ride through our historic district. And when you board the carriage, they like to tell you that, you're just relax. You're going to go about 4 miles an hour and experience
Yeah.
the scenery the way people did back in the 1700s. So anyway, that's always fun for the kids because the horses are actually rescue horses from the Amish country. You know, when they retire them, our carriage company goes up there and, checks out the retired horses, and they have a second purpose when they come here.
That's awesome.
And they train
That is
them
awesome.
and they make sure that, each horse is only out for a couple of, they have breaks and all that. So they have a whole lot of horses that can do that. You can also go pier fishing at our fishing piers, both Carolina Beach and Curie Beach, which Hannah said is like only about a 5-minute drive from each other. Both have full service fishing piers. So if you don't want to bring your bait and tackle, you can just buy all that there. That's always fun for families. And we have a lot of surf schools here. So if you're already an experienced surfer, you can bring your board or rent a board somewhere at an outfitter. But if you don't know how to surf, they have a lot of family-friendly and kid-friendly surf schools. And one of the unique aspects of one of them in Carolina Beach is the Tony Silvani Surf School. He's actually a Carolina Beach, Curie Beach native, and he owns his own surf school, but he is also he ranks, I think, number 9 now, Hannah, on the World Surfing League
Your
tour.
guess is mine right now, but he's up there. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a professional longboard surfer who also has a team of friends and family who run the school when he's out traveling the world.
Have either of you done the surfing? I just want to know.
Pardon?
Have either one of you done the surfing?
I tried a long time ago and I am not good at it. So I know that I belong on a stand-up paddle board. That is for me.
Yeah.
You mentioned pier fishing. I have to tell this story. Growing up, my dad tells the story to anybody who'll listen. I can't remember which beach we were on, but we rented a bunch of equipment. We get out to the pier. I spend about 5 minutes fishing and I'm done. And so I love it now, but that's just, my dad tells that story to anybody who'll listen. You rent all this equipment, you get out there. I think I was probably 8 at the time, but I think I lasted about 5 minutes doing that. So
yeah, that is a sport of patience.
yes, and I had none.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the beaches, and this is something that I never would have asked when I was younger, but the older I get, the more sensitive I am to the type of sand on the beaches. What's the sand like, Carolina Beach and other beaches there? Is it easy to get around?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Beautiful beaches. The water stays mild throughout most of the year. And one of the coolest things about Carolina Beach is that we have beach accessible wheelchairs, which can be rented through the Town of Carolina Beach Parks and Rec Department. It's free of charge. And that was one of the coolest things that they started. And I think, gosh, I'm not sure exactly when they started that, but it's been a few years at this point. Yeah, it's one of the most family-friendly beaches that I've ever seen. And the fact that you can just park the car in the morning and then you have the boardwalk right there, and all of the restaurants and shops are just a walk out of the way. So you can spend the whole day doing a bunch of different things as well as hanging out at the beach.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that reminds me, Hannah, about the accessible beach mat. That's at the just off the boardwalk at one of the hotels. It covers like a block, and so that's a really great feature from like mid-June through Labor Day, I think, is when the accessible beach mat's available. And speaking of the boardwalk, that is another unique experience. Is a historic boardwalk. It was built like in the 1930s. Of course, it's been refreshed a couple of times, but it's so much fun to go and have a Brits donut, famous Brits donut, one style of donut, and people are always lined all the way across the boardwalk to pick them up. And you can have milk or a soda or with it, so it's a simple menu, but really good stuff.
Awesome.
All right. So for people that are visiting, can you recommend any family-friendly accommodations in Wilmington, Carolina Beach?
Yes, the families love to, travel in different ways. Sometimes you have just a small family unit, or you may have a multi-generational family where the grandparents are. So we have a lot of different options. If it's a small family, you may want to opt for one of the oceanfront brand hotels that usually have like an indoor and outdoor pool as well, or maybe just a block off the beach. There are also some smaller independently owned mom and pop types of inns that are available, motor lodges. But then you've also got vacation rentals, which are a really great option for not only small families, but also multi-generational families, because, they may have one bedroom up to 4 or 5 or 6 bedrooms, depending on what you need. A lot of family reunions take place at our island beaches at these vacation rentals. So that's a really great option too. And you can get a condominium or like a vacation cottage or one of the big beach houses. So lots of options there for families.
Awesome. Well, now we've come to my favorite time in our family vacationer podcast, when we talk about the food scene. So can you talk about some family-friendly dining options in the area that you guys would recommend?
Also one of my favorite topics. I'm a foodie. Yeah, we are very much a foodie town, even with kids, So I'll start with Wilmington. We right on the Riverwalk, we have several restaurants that have decks that overlook the Riverwalk, which is also great for sunset views. The Pilot House being one of those. I think they're one of the restaurants on the Riverwalk that has like the big Carolina buckets where you can get like seafood and potatoes and all of that. And then just down the road is Marina Grill, and similar type of vibe where you have the outside patio and it overlooks, there's a marina right there where there's live music every weekend. And it's a really cool spot. They have a pier that juts out there where they have some of our larger bands that play. So if you are having dinner at that restaurant and there happens to be a band playing on the big stage, you get a front row seat for that, which is really cool. And we have our only floating bar and grill, which is called Ann Bonnie's. And it's a cool little place. It's on a little floating barge, and they have a little bit of everything, seafood. They have a good kids menu. And then we have the basics, which is up the hill a little bit. And that is our take on a Southern food menu. And they have, anywhere from fried green tomatoes to burgers to, anything you can think of with pimento cheese on it. And they also have a great kids menu there. And then if you're just looking for a simple pizza, we have Slice of Life, which is on Market Street, and it's right near all the really cool shops right in that area. And then if we go back down to Carolina Beach, which is our more casual beach vibe. So one of my favorites is Michael's Seafood, which I won't get into the whole story of the restaurant. You'll have to look that up. But they have one of the coolest vibes in that restaurant, the way it's decorated, and the kids always love it. And they have, in my opinion, one of the best kids menus that we have in the whole area. But just the vibe in there itself is just really cool. And then we have Flaming Amy's Burrito Bar, which is, any type of burrito that you could possibly think of, including around Thanksgiving, they have a Thanksgiving burrito.
Whoa, wait a minute. How does that work?
You just have to look it up.
Oh my God.
It's exactly what you think it is, and it really does taste good. I've had it.
Oh my. Okay.
It's actually got turkey, and I think it's got dressing and cranberry, all the fixins wrapped in a burrito, and then it's deep fried.
Of course it is.
And
it has to be.
Yes, and they're famous for their sauces. They have like this sauce bar, for their regular burritos. I'm sure they come up with a special sauce for Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh. Well, luckily calories don't count when you're at the beach.
Exactly.
That's what I've always been told. So
I'm still trying to grab something with dressing in it being deep fried. That's That's a
Just
new
the
one on
Instagram
me.
a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty good.
All right, we
You
got to try
can't eat
that
it
one.
in one sitting. That's my opinion anyway.
Oh, I'm sure.
But also if you're looking for like a cool water view, right on the waterway in Carolina Beach, we have Stoked, which is a newer spot. It's been there for a couple of years. I think they start open like right before the pandemic hit. And one of my favorite spots, you can sit right on the deck there and just watch all the boats dock, whether they're good at it or not. And it's people watching, and they usually have some live music out on the deck there too.
Danny and I have talked about it. Seafood tastes great anytime, but it tastes so much better when you can see the water. I don't know why that is, but
yeah,
exactly.
I'm with you there. Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. All right. So some people plan trips around festivals or events. So I want to ask, are there any of those things that go on through the year that families may want to plan their trip around?
Absolutely. In fact, we have one coming up in 2 or 3 weeks. The North Carolina Azalea Festival is actually the biggest festival in our region. It's been going on for almost 80 years now. So they have a street fair with a kids zone, with lots of activities, a bounce house, arts and crafts, also performances of various schools or dance schools, performing. There's also a parade, like a 3-hour parade, with floats, with all kinds of, clown, everything that you think of from like your childhood, maybe even where you went to a neighborhood parade. It's a really well done parade, and lots of music and marching bands and all that. In early October, there's Riverfest, which is on the Cape Fear Riverfront in downtown, and it also has a kids zone with lots of activities. And on July 4th, we have fireworks displays at the Carolina Beach Boardwalk and downtown on the riverfront. And it's really majestic because you've got the battleship in the background and the patriotic music and the fireworks going. And of course, both events also have live music leading up to that. It's usually like a street festival kind of thing leading up. For the holidays, it varies. One year it'll be at Carolina Beach Pier. The next year it'll be at Curie Beach Pier, but they have like a New Year's Eve street festival and beach ball drop.
Nice.
New York has the Big Apple. We have the big beach ball that drops.
I'll take the beach ball any day.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. And, it depends on the way. It can get cool here in December, but sometimes you have unseasonably warm weather, and we always hope for that, of course. But, it's a fun time either way. Also during the holidays, there's the North Carolina Holiday Flotilla at Wrightsville Beach, but then Carolina Beach also has one the first weekend of December, and it is their Island of Lights flotilla, which is part of the Island of Lights Festival all throughout Carolina and Curie Beach through from like the Thanksgiving to New Year's. In addition to that, during the summer months, there's a weekly boardwalk blast at the Carolina Beach Boardwalk, where you've got fireworks every Thursday, weather permitting, and live bands. And that goes Memorial Day to Labor Day. And we also have free summer concerts downtown at Curie Beach, Carolina Beach, and Wrightsville Beach, all over town, usually on the weekends. There's also a children's theater company here. And I don't know, it just seems like there's always lots to do and engage with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
just to add onto the Azalea Festival, they bring in some really big name live bands for that as well. I think REO Speedwagon is heading up this one again.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So if you're a music lover, you bring the kids and go to the concerts too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, one of the best things about having you both on is we can get kind of the insider information about the area, right? Like, for example, one of the towns that we covered, they told us, don't wear, what was it, Dan? Socks with flip-flops, which you would think you wouldn't need to tell somebody, but evidently that's a thing where they were. So what's the inside information? How can families make the most of their time in the area?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with the no socks and sandals. Never understood that.
Yeah,
Um,
me either.
I think my biggest insider tip, other than you need to spend a full weekend because we just have so much to do here, is to get an early start. I mean, parking here is like it is in any other beach. You want to start early.
Yeah.
But
Right.
the best part is that you don't have to go far. So if you just park the car and do the beach, and then you can go to Stoked, which is right down the way, and have lunch, and then you can go to the boardwalk and do all the shops. And then once you're done with all that, you get in the car and you drive downtown to Wilmington. So the fact that you can do all of that in one day is pretty awesome. And other than that, I would say, take advantage of all of the outdoor activities. We have so many cool things that you can do for ecotourism, the kayaking, the paddleboarding, you take a surf lesson, all the trails, just everything that either costs nothing or very little that you can go do with your family, other than the beach, which is always a great thing. But that's what I would say.
I have a couple of other tips. One, if you have flexibility, you can get a much better rate if you're coming in spring, fall, or of course winter. Summer rates, you're going to have the peak rates. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, if you're going to be during the summer going to hike a trail, especially if you're going to be hiking at Carolina Beach State Park or the Fort Fisher State Recreation Area, which is very there's a lot of water around. Make sure you've got insect repellent. And that you're wearing closed-toed shoes for hiking.
Good tips. All right. So I know you guys have talked about so much to do in the sea, but finally, are there any of those hidden gems in the area? Any final things the families sometimes might miss when they're visiting?
Yes. In fact, I just mentioned one, the Fort Fisher State Recreation Area. It is an undeveloped beach just past Curie Beach, and it's on state property. So it is a lifeguarded area. And I don't know if we mentioned this before, but all three of our beaches are lifeguard protected Memorial Day to Labor Day, which I believe is a very important thing to families. It is to my family.
Yeah.
So that's something that we want to make sure everybody knows. So there is also a lifeguard stand at Fort Fisher State Recreation Area. Plus they have this really cool hiking trail through the marsh that goes all the way to the back of the aquarium, where there's a World War II bunker where the famous Fort Fisher hermit used to live. He was like the #1 tourist attraction in the 1970s, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, of course he has passed, but his legacy lives on, and you can still hike down to that bunker, and it's just beautiful scenery all through there. And I think that's a real hidden gem. There's also on that same property, but across the street, the Fort Fisher State Historic Site, which is not so hidden, but it is a Civil War battlefield and museum. One thing that people may not know is that they have like this half-mile trail around the Civil War mounds that still remain. And during the summer months, they have a guided docent tour. So that's fun for for children and adults to get that history lesson with someone who's dressed in that. And they also do a lot of types of artillery demonstrations and things throughout the year. Halliburton Park, we have a lot of municipal parks that are really unique too. And Halliburton Park is always a favorite. They have an apiary and for bees, and also a nature center as part of the park. And so it's a fun place to go. And the Fort Fisher Ferry, I think, is another hidden gem. You drive down to Fort Fisher. You can even take your car on the ferry and go for a 30-minute ferry ride across the Cape Fear River over to Southport. You can either get off in Southport and explore that area, or just ride back. But it's nice to be able to get out there and see all the nature and the animals too. Which brings me to river cruises. That's another thing that might be fun, especially for families that don't have babies. That I think they may have a hard time accommodating, strollers. But for families with older children, that's good. As well as the ghost walk, that's fun for maybe kids over the age of 10 or 12. And if you don't want to go at night, they usually offer one in the summer at 6:30, and then they offer another one at like 8:30. So that's something fun to do. So those are some of the ones I can think of.
Awesome. Well, as Danny mentioned, you guys have talked about all kinds of fun stuff to do, but we're going to get personal with you both. What are your favorite places in the area?
Oh, you're trying to get us in trouble.
No. Let me put it this. Let me try that again. When you have friends and family that are visiting,
there you go.
Where do you take them?
Okay. Well, it's a hard question because it's sort of like asking a parent who their favorite child is.
Right.
And it also depends on who's visiting, because,
True.
they may have different, interests. But for me personally, I enjoy live theater and music. And we we have a great arts destination. I also enjoy going to galleries. So we have a Fourth Friday gallery walk, the fourth Friday every month downtown. We have so many great amphitheaters where you can go and listen to bands or, pop-up stages, for some of the summer concerts. So I enjoy a lot of that. And then we have a historic Thalian Hall where you can see concerts as well as live theater, and the Wilson Center, which has some traveling Broadway productions. So those are the things I enjoy. And of course, when my nieces come, they're wanting to do a lot of the outdoor activities that Hannah mentioned. And, they might also be interested in going to some of the movie sites. We're a big filmmaking and TV and film destination. So, some of their favorite movies like Iron Man 3 or for my older niece, One Tree Hill sites to explore. So that's always fun.
Was Dawson's Creek filmed there?
Oh,
it was, yes.
I was just about to say those are the tours that I have to take my friends on. Our generation. I mean, a lot of movies and TV shows that people don't realize that were filmed here, which is really cool. And I'll also second the live music thing. I would also add that Greenfield Lake Amphitheater would, in my opinion, be considered a hidden gem. It's one of the coolest amphitheaters I've ever been to. It's very intimate, and you can take your kids there and they'll still have a great time. There's no assigned seating, and they have a lot of grassy areas around there, and it's a very cool spot. But also the dog-friendly, pet-friendly places that we have here. My dog is my child, so I'm very proud of the fact that you can go to Wilmington and our beaches and find so many pet-friendly places. We actually just opened our first dog park / bar. That's also kid-friendly, and it's called Rough Draft, which is really cute. So
That's
you take
awesome.
your kids and your pets there, and you get craft beer, and you just let your dogs run around and play, which is awesome. Obviously, you have to get them registered and all that, but
so the dogs can drink when they're 3, since they're really 21.
Exactly.
Sounds like a rocking place, man.
I have not been there yet, but I've heard amazing things, so I'm excited to go. And that's in the Cargo District, which is also a very walkable, family-friendly location. And then also in the vein of craft brewery, because I do love craft beer, Good Hops on Carolina Beach is also very dog friendly and kid friendly, and they have a professional disc golf course there, which not many people can say that. I don't think,
really,
at all. So you play with the kids, or like let one parent watch the kids while you go play disc golf and have some of their local beer. It's really good. So those are the things that I really enjoy about the area.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And we have like 20, almost 20 craft breweries here. And I think most of them, or if not all of them, are kid friendly, and most of them are also dog friendly.
That's awesome. Lots of great information. Well, if you need more information on visiting the Wilmington area, consult your travel agent and visit wilmingtonandbeaches.com. Connie, Hannah, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
It's been fun.
Hey everyone, if you're ready to plan your next family vacation, call my dad. He would love to help you as a certified travel agent. He never charges a fee to help you plan your vacation. Email him at rjones@starsteptravel.com. Get started planning your vacation today.
Well, that does it for this week. Hey, don't forget, you can also engage with the show on Facebook and Instagram, and you can view the video version of the show on YouTube. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.